Welcome to the You're Not Wrong podcast, a place where nothing is wrong, you are not wrong, and it's a continuous celebration of you and the gift you are in the world.
All right, so it's episode 2 of the You're Not Wrong podcast. My name is Michelle Follis and joined here with Jennifer Stevens and our guest, Megan Navarro.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome, Megan. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so blessed. Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you got going?
Yeah, so my name is Megan Navarro, and I'm just, like I said, I'm so blessed to be here today. And I am a woman in recovery. I'm a woman that is exploring energy healing and energy shifting, and I support other women and of course men as well, but I'm empowered to just support anybody that wants better, wants different, wants change, wants just a different life for themselves. So I know that this is the first and of many steps, and I'm here just promoting empowered women as well. So thank you so much. I currently work at Mayan Springs Health. I run 3 programs. I run 2 residential programs for substance abuse and mental health, and then also the detoxification unit for Mayan Springs Health. So I'm here just to share my story and rally against or rally with people that want to just better their life.
Awesome.
Yeah,
cool. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your story when you said and I don't have my pen and paper.
You're good. No,
Yeah.
we're just jumping right in.
Yeah. So what tell us a little bit about where you came from in terms of your journey to then where you are right now, helping people with substance abuse and other things.
Absolutely. So this is like 37 years wrapped up in probably 7 or 8 minutes. So, I was raised by an alcoholic father who was the coolest hippie person ever. I had 0 rules growing up besides have fun, insert yourself, and just, live life to the fullest, which I thought growing up was, how fun is that? No rules. So I was always the party house, the fun, adventurous place to be. I also have an older sister who was raised in the same household. She has a severe and persistent mental illness. And I quickly found myself at age 15 being the caretaker, and I didn't even know what that word meant. I was making sure that she was okay, and that she was taking her medications, and that she was not being bullied at school, and at the same time making sure that my dad woke up and went to work, and his money went towards bills and went towards our mortgage and went towards like adult things instead of just partying all the time. And I found myself really indulging into gymnastics. That was my lifeline. It was where I could explore and have creativity, and I could escape from being a caretaker. And I did really well at that. One day I was trying out for Junior Olympics here in Grand Junction, and became hurt. I hurt my knee really bad and had to take some time off, and fell into this deep, I know now it was called depression, but back then I just thought, dang, like I wasn't holding up the whole world on my shoulders. And when I was 18 years old, my hippie loving father, bless his heart, sold everything we had and bought a Volkswagen bus and just went touring the world. And I was so proud of him. But at the same time, a couple months later, my sister, she attempted suicide and was in my care. And it was this really realization. The state came to me and said, can you care for her or can you not? And I had to say, like, I'm 17, I cannot care for her. So I had to sign her over to the state, and she was put into a group home. And quickly I found myself partying, like living it up in worldly ways, and just trying to be popular and trying to be like just this high life that really my world taught me to be. And one day, one of my very best friends introduced me to methamphetamines, and I tried it because I thought that it was like, yay, the fun party favor of the weekend. And I tried it and was instantly hooked. I quickly, it's a joke nowadays, but anything I do, I'm fast and furious. I will either run treatment centers, I will, I will be a dealer very fast. I quickly found myself just running wild. I was very good at what I did. And fast forward a couple of years, I was apprehended by the meth task force and here in Grand Junction in 2009. And I found myself in the back of a cop car like, wow, this can't be me. I have no idea who I am. Like, I'm in on some hefty charges. My family just found out I was using, just shameful, very shameful. And, I built myself up to be this person that I thought I was like so radical and gangster and, all this stuff, worldly stuff. And really, if I sat there by myself, I was none of that, but I had no idea who I was. So I went through the system and went to my sentencing hearing. I was found 14 years in the Department of Corrections. And for the first time in my life, I'm like, whoa, that's not me. Like, that's not me. And I heard some voices from the courtroom, and it was my great family. They all advocated behind me, and they said, there's not a treatment center here in town during this time. And can we please send Megan to a treatment center out of state so she can find herself before she turns herself in for her 14 years. And I think I was in a fog during that time. I agreed to whatever the judge was going to let me do. I didn't want to go use anymore. I didn't want to be, just wrapped up in everything I was wrapped up in. And to my surprise, she granted me 6 months to go to a faith-based center in Arizona. And so very next day, I was being shipped out by my amazing stepdad and my mom. They got me to this treatment center. And when I got there, I had every intentions on running. I didn't know, I think I was running from myself, and I didn't know what to do. And I met a counselor there, and she said, just give yourself 2 weeks, like let yourself feel better, let yourself settle in, and maybe something will click. And so I promised myself, you know what, I'm going to give this 2 weeks. My parents paid, or actually my grandparents paid thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm going to give them 2 weeks, and then I'm out of here. And, I was sitting in a group setting, and something happened in that very moment. It was a meditation group, actually. And just this energy came over me, and I was reminded that I don't have to run. I don't have to hide. I can be, and I can show up to right now, who I am, where I am, and nothing else matters. My charges don't matter. My sentence doesn't matter. My shame doesn't matter. Like, Megan, who do you want to be? Who are you? And how amazing is that? Like, I am who I am. Like, with all this crap, I am who I am. And so I completed the 6 month treatment. I flew back to Grand Junction, and I didn't have a pot to piss in, but I showed up to court and I said, here I am with my cute poofy hair, and I love my life, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to do the 14 years, and I am going to bless someone's life, and I'm going to be this beacon of light, because here I am. And the judge was just like, wait, what? What just happened? We didn't expect you to show up. And she says, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm resentencing you. And she resentenced me to 5 years, day for day community corrections with no good time. And I said, thank you, I'll take it. And showed up to Concours, and I rocked it. I had really bad days and I had really good days. And I showed up to my treatment, outpatient services, and there's Jennifer Stevens right in front of me. And I thought to myself, like, I'm back in a room where all of these people, bless their hearts, that didn't have treatment, that I was dealing drugs to, that I was in this lifestyle with. And I decided to shut down just for a second, like get your bearings around you. And here's Jennifer, like, called me out one day in treatment and said, like, why are you here? You know, what is your passion? I feel you. What is going on? Like, called me out on some really deep rooted stuff. And that day changed my life all over again. I just decided that, like, your journey is not just to make it through a community corrections based sentence. Your journey is not just to work a regular job. And I decided on that day, like, I'm going to give my all, and I'm going to be a beacon of light for these people that didn't have the opportunities that I had in my life. So I rocked it. You know, again, I had some really good days and I had some really bad days. I did my treatment and I did 5 years of community corrections. And I did it speaking out loud, and I did it courageously, and I did it to show everybody else that you don't have to be a statistic. You can be here and light and love and energy and be who you want to be. And, you know, some learned from that and some didn't learn from that, but I think we planted some seeds in the meantime. And then my last year of community corrections, I met my most amazing soul partner, my husband. I now fast forward a few years. I've been in recovery for almost 13 years. And I'm loving life. Like, it's so crazy. I have a 5-year-old little boy that was never be possible without not only my support systems, but without me recovering out loud and recovering and saying, yes, I'm in recovery and here I am and I'm showing up and you guys can do this too. Like, none of this would be possible. 5 years and 1 day after my sentence, I was offered a position at Mind Springs in the detox unit. And I thought, wait till you see my charges, like, that you might think differently. And they were like, bless your charges, come in, people need to hear your story. And I have just been belting it from the mountaintop since then. It was employed for 1 year through the detox unit. I was then transferred to what's called the Women's Recovery Center, which is a treatment center for women who are suffering from substance abuse as well as pretty severe complex trauma. And I then indulged in my CAC, which is a certified addictions counselor. I got my CAC 1 and then my CAC 2, which is now grandfathered into what's called a CAS, certified addiction specialist. And I began counseling other women and then was quickly promoted to program coordinator. So I ran Women's Recovery Center. Since then, we've launched a males unit. So I was transferred to be a program coordinator of what's called the Circle program. And how amazing, now we can support men in this as well and dads in this as well. 3 weeks ago, I was promoted again through to program director. So I oversee the detox unit that I started in, the Women's Recovery Center, which I was transferred to, and then the Circle program, the males unit. And you know, through this journey, I had a hard time. Almost 18 months ago, my husband was diagnosed with MS, and it rocked me. I was just, I knew I was okay, but I knew that I had this life transforming situation where my energy was just gunky, you know? And I thought to myself, when was I doing the best? When was I okay? When was I not okay, but still safe? And I'm like, where the heck is Jen? Where is Jennifer? So I went on this rampage, like Facebook creeping on Jen, and I found her and I said, you know, I haven't needed counseling, you know, for a while, but I need you. Where are you? I'm coming to your house. I'm coming wherever you're at tomorrow. And she said, you know, some things have transformed and here's where I'm at. And I'm now doing, yes, talk therapy is great. And that saved my life. I was able to process, but there's more to this thing called life. And I really want to talk to you about energy shifting and healing. And I'm like, dude, I don't care what you talk to me about, but I need to come talk to you. And so I think it was the next day, maybe a couple of days later, I went to Jen at Waves to Healing, and wow, yes, I had a little talking and processing, and then I was introduced to energy shifting and energy, processing and healing. And we're energy. We are based on energy. And I think that our lives and our trauma that we go through is a bunch of resistance to energy shifting. And how amazing that's been, the new depths of my core and the depths of me that I found. I found this process where I can, when something's not right, I can stop and shift things and learn from that. So I'm blessed. I've been asked by the state of Colorado to engage in a campaign called Tough as a Mother. And what that is lowering the stigma for women and mothers that are in recovery, and show them a better way, and show them that we can recover out loud and we can be tough as a mother and still show up to situations that are, to the naked eye, horrible. And we can do it courageously, and we can talk about it, and we can talk about the gunk. And how much safety are we creating for other people when women like us, and I'm sure there's going to be men too like us, that rally around and say, here's my crap, and cool, here's my crap, who wants to come with me and build a better life? So here I am with all my gunk, all my crap, and a whole team of people surrounding me and surrounding us and surrounding people that haven't learned yet and haven't been shown a better way yet, that we're here and we're gonna help them, and we're gonna survive together. And you know what? We're gonna live a damn good life. Am I allowed to say that on here? I think I am. Damn good life. Yeah. So here I am, Megan Navarro, tough as a mother, living out loud, energy shifting, loving my life.
Woo!
Yeah. And I think I went over my 7-minute max. Yeah.
That
And
was
you're
really-
not wrong.
Yeah, that
Not
was-
wrong. I am not wrong for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michelle.
What is it that you like? What do you think what is it that, how you hear about people and they'll be in a similar situation, but yet they make a different choice, or they make themselves wrong. They're not able to choose something different. They're not able to get out of that sort of funk. Like, what
Yeah.
is it that about you, do you think, that made it so that you were able to just keep on? It's not even keep going. It's different. It's actually like perceiving that there was something different available for you in your life.
Yeah. I think it all boils down to me being taught and able to challenge my negative core beliefs. There was negative core beliefs placed on me before I even knew what those words meant, that I wasn't good enough unless I had the whole world on my shoulders. I wasn't good enough because my sister's in a group home. I wasn't good enough because I was introduced to drugs. I wasn't good enough. Well, we could go on and on and on, right? I learned that that's not me, and I'm not attaching to that. So as soon as I let that go and not attach to it, wow, like, whew, there's like a whole space for me to create who I truly want to be. And one of my counselors in recovery told me, like, who do you want to be? Like, you told me a bunch of stuff on who you don't want to be, but who do you want to be? And wake up tomorrow and be that person. If I want to be a strong, independent woman in recovery, I'm not going to believe that I'm a piece of crap, that I'm not good, that people don't love me, that I'm an addict. I'm all of these. So I just attached to my new belief system that I am worthy, I am empowered, I'm strong, I'm independent, I am a woman of faith, I'm a woman of compassion and recovery. And so I think it boils down to what we attach to and what we allow ourselves to attach to on a daily basis, because that could change tomorrow, So every single day I wake up and I attach to, and I make space for what is true for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for, I mean, I'm just like, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing your story. When Michelle and I decided to be on this journey together and create this, it really was to have these courageous conversations. And you are just showing up as so courageous. And what I love about this, and what has always just been just such an inspiration, I think, to me, knowing you for as long as I have, is
Yeah.
that you haven't made yourself wrong. Like, you have taken that next step to say, I'm going to choose something different. I'm going to choose, like, you have explored all kinds of
Yeah.
different things. So
Yeah.
as we look at that, like, what was your biggest you're not wrong moment that you can, if you can go back and just go, okay, that was my biggest, I'm not wrong, you're not wrong, right? And what did that change for you, and what kinds of things have you chosen since then that has, that you could say, okay, it was like some of these tools, or, you know I think you know what I'm asking with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So there's a very profound moment, two profound moments, one in community corrections, and bless their heart, their community corrections, that's just their corrections. I had this care plan, and I'm like, this is my life, and I want to go to school, and I want to do all these things. And this person told me, you're not ever going to accomplish that. Like, no, you have 5 more years to serve, and we don't allow you to sign up for all these things and fail. So no. And I was like, whoa, okay. And I put it away. And I remember a couple of days later, it couldn't have been more than a week later, I was sitting on my bunk bed in a correction facility. And I was like, what? Like, no, not only am I going to do this, I'm going to mentor people to do it with me. I'm about to start a movement in this entire correction facility. And I started groups by myself. I'm like, I'm not a counselor, but I'm damn sure a mentor. And we're not going out like this. Like, no, I am not wrong. I had trauma that created choices, and I created choices for myself that absolutely led to things that were not well, but they were not wrong. And I'm not wrong. And I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to be I'm going to be an amazing woman. I am an amazing woman, even in this correctional facility. So I started the very next day. The first day, one person showed up, and it was my roommate. And I was like, I paid her to show up. I'm going to give you hygiene money to, like, don't let me go out like this where you're coming to my group. And the next week there was 3 people, and the next week there was 7 people, and then it just grew and grew. And it was a women's group for how do we process so we don't reoffend. What does that mean? You show up with a topic and we're going to talk about it. And it was everything from trauma to codependency to boys to goals to anything and everything. And I think I probably did it as a motivation to show that I'm not wrong, and 2, I will break every stigma that you're placing on me right now. And I did. That day 1, 5 years plus 1 day, I enrolled in school. 6 months later, I had my CAT. That's as quick as you could get it. 6 months plus 1 year, I had my CAC 2. That's as fast as you can get it. And I remember my second biggest moment was, as a counselor at a round table, and we had community corrections clients, and my old case manager showed up to be a case manager at this round table. And she looked at me, and she got up and walked out of the room. And on her way out, she says, I will never be in a room with you in a professional manner. And I started bawling, and I was really embarrassed. I was shameful. I quickly attached to her perception of me. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. I can't believe I even did this to myself. And I went home for the day, clocked out and went home. 12 hours later, I was like, Megan, you're not wrong. You're going to go back. You're going to call that lady and demand a meeting. And I did. And since then, we've been working well with each other. Not only do I work with those same facilities, but I run 3 of them. And I now employ people, women that have gone through the program. And I take pride in it. And I'm so soulful about what do you want for your life? The first question I ask every person that admits into the program, what do you want for your life? Not what I want. What do you want for your life? And they're going to get it because I will mentor them until they get that. And so I think it's about remembering and allowing yourself to feel that for a second, but coming right back and saying, no, 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 I'm not wrong, nor was I ever wrong. And I will show up every day to get to the goals, regardless of people that believe in me or not. Because there's still people 13 years later that do not believe that I will ever have a great life. And I don't have a great life. I have an amazing life. And there's still people that don't believe that I'm capable of doing that. So it's about combating that every day.
One of the things that I love that you talked about was that what I love is like the choices we make, it's taking ownership of the choices we make
Yeah.
that may not have worked out the way that we wanted them or thought they were going to, and not making yourself wrong about it. Because that is one of the things. If people like if people who are listening can really get that a choice is just that.
Yeah.
And a choice creates, an awareness for you. It creates a situation, it creates an outcome that doesn't have to be permanent. And it's when we go in and make ourselves wrong about it that we like swim in that cesspool of shame and guilt and regret. And it's like, instead, and it's so, and I just love the energy that you be in terms of like, in both of those examples, there was that space where you're like, okay, like somebody was like, no, like kind of like, fuck you, like, no. And you're like, okay. And you took it home and you're like, darn. And then you're like, zoop, no, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What is real and true for me?
Yeah.
I love that.
And there's power in owning your own shit. Like, yes, I have done everything. Plus, you know what? Plus more. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I did that no one even called me on. And I did all that. And cool, I'm here. And how can I be a voice for other people that don't have a voice yet that have done just that? Like, just that. Yeah, there is so much power in accountability. There's so much power in saying, I did this and finish the sentence. I think I learned this from Jennifer, actually. What's the rest of the sentence? Because I have done all that. And what have I done since then? And what have I learned from there? And who am I mentoring now? It's about there's so much more. And I think it's that period. What's the rest that shows us that we're not wrong. We're not wrong. Nothing that we have done is wrong. And I think that if you look back at any person's story that you amazing ladies are going to have on this great podcast, it all boils back to when they were not conscious of what was going on. So how can we be wrong for something that we weren't even conscious when it was happening to us anyways? We make decisions on something that we weren't given all the tools to make the right decision to begin with. So when we become conscious and say, I did that. Hi, I did that. Yes, I did that. And speak louder and rule from it and move from that and use that as power.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you are willing to step in to being you. The not hiding. And I think that that's where a lot of the guilt and shame and blame and getting caught in that cesspool that Michelle was talking about is that, the judgment, the self-judgment, the guilt and shame part where, there may have been some of that, but you were willing to step into being you. Like, I'm going to start something different. I am going to create something different. And acknowledging that potency and that power that you have, that you're actually even showing us here, like just this energy that just like flows from you, that people are like, whoa, I want what she's having. Right. Like what? Yeah. Like that energy of Megan, that's, how much louder can we be? And what can we invite people to so that they're not stuck in that, yuck and gunk for so long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always just admired that. And I was always, very, you were just different. And I am so grateful that you have like chosen to create from that difference.
Yeah.
I love that you've created a life that is magnificent.
Yeah.
Not just mediocre, it's magnificent.
Yeah.
And I do want to share something, if you're okay with me talking about this new recent promotion.
Oh, I'm an open book. Yes.
Megan was promoted over people that had master's degrees.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in my bachelor's degree currently. I have 6 more months for my bachelor's degree, but I was promoted to program coordinator, and that's a master's level position. And I was offered the position, and I accepted it, loud and clear. And really quickly, people that I thought were my friends, people that were closest to me, were not happy. I mean, talking behind my back, really talking to my face. I mean, a couple people told me, like, you don't deserve this. You don't have an education. You don't deserve this. And that rocked me in my professional world. That rocked me. I took it home probably for more than the 2 days we've been talking. It was probably it was longer than a couple weeks probably. And I was like, man, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should put it on pause. And one of my mentors was like, stop. You have put in more than a master's degree on all of your life experiences, and you rock this. And okay, took a deep breath. Here we go. And so I had that experience. And then, so I'm putting in for the director's position, clearly knowing you need 2 master's degrees for this position. And there was other people that were putting in that were definitely educationally, ready and willing for this position. And my mentors were like, you've been in these programs for 7 years, put in for it. So I put in for it. Like, here's what it's going to be, what it's going to be. And lo and behold, I got the position 3 days later, very quickly. And it was night and day difference. I had people that had been my lateral for years that talking bad about me, starting so much drama, talking bad to my face, trying to hurt the programs. And it rocked me, not as hard as it did with the coordinator. I did a lot of work with Jennifer before this, and let's just get ready for this. And my internal compass knew it was coming. And what it showed me is, here I am, I'm here. And yet I'm at another level that everyone told me is not possible without 2 masters. Now, give me 2 years, I'll have a master's degree, and then I'm stopping there. That's fine. But what it showed me is, like, guard your energy. It's fine to level up and to do everything that you're doing, but also know that you're not wrong for succeeding. You are not wrong. Many people that are very educated, and I respect each and every one of these people that were battling me on a daily basis, telling me, how dare you even put in for the position? You're wrong for even applying for this position. And so, it took me just a couple of days this time, and I realized that I'm not wrong. I'm going to keep doing every single thing that my God, my universe, my energy, my compass, my all the above is showing me to do. My truth is to keep on making space for as many people that are creating better lives for themselves and for other people. Journey and recovery, whether that's addiction, whether that's any addictions, whether it be food, sex, drugs, it doesn't matter what it is, gambling, no matter what it is, I'm going to create because I'm pretty loud, the biggest space possible for healers under and around to have their little healers and people around, that we can move mountains of people, herds of people, crowds of people to live a better life. And so once I truly accepted that, and I've done years of work with Jennifer to realize that every time I level up, that doesn't make me wrong. That makes me powerful. It makes me true. It makes me beautiful. And it makes me one step closer to the amazing person that I've always been. So I have to remind myself, and, we're healers, we're great people, we're like extroverts, all of us are, but we have to remind ourselves on a daily basis that we're not wrong. Sometimes I show up to my husband like, dang, was that wrong? I'm not wrong. No, something happened. I'm not wrong. Like, let's talk about it. So as a mom, as a anything and everything where we show up in life, like, I just love what you guys are doing. And this is like going to be the next movement. I feel it, that you're not wrong in your decision. So I'm just excited for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much time we have, but there's something too about, like when you were talking about that you came back from Arizona and showed up at court and you were just like, you didn't know if you were going to be serving the full sentence or whatever. And there's, do you think that there's a level when you're willing to have a level of vulnerability, when you're willing to lower your barriers, like you talked about sort of taking responsibility for your choices? Because one of the things that Jennifer and I talk about is also like with this whole movement, it's that it's you're not wrong and the rules don't apply. And that being said, recognizing what the choice creates, because sometimes it's not about just the free for all for go and do anything that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So like when you lowered your barriers and in front of the judge and we're just like, here I am, I'm ready, and acknowledged your choices in how you got there. Like, have you acknowledged the magic that showed up for you by your willingness to be vulnerable when she then reduced your sentence? And then every sort of step from there until where you are today, like there's a level of vulnerability. It's like the tough and the vulnerable
Yeah.
piece.
So funny. I don't even know if Jen knows this story, but funny story. So I showed up to court and I'm like, here I am. I know I'm going to prison today. So here we are. And I'm like, last hug. Here's my vulnerable self. Like, thank you. I hear, I'm sober. Hey, I'm sober. And she resentenced me, but my bondsman didn't show up. So they had to revoke my bond because I was going to community corrections and not Department of Corrections. And so they said, sorry, out of technicality, you have to be arrested right now, but you're not going to prison. And I'm like, all right, well, here's my vulnerable self. Like, yay, here, all right, Mesa County might be better than, prison. So that very moment that you just said that, I was like, I'm like taking my cute earrings out, like, all right, sorry, mom, I'm getting arrested in front of you. So they booked me into county jail until they could round my bondsman up. And it was exactly what you just said, Michelle, the most powerful, like, brings goosebumps to me. So I'm in booking with a bunch of people that are not sober and not well and terrified and just in that cycle of abuse, self-abuse. And they plopped me right in there in my regular clothes. And I spread positive energy, and whatever that meant for you, like, gosh, guys, I got you. I'm going to create this space for you because I'm vulnerable enough to be in jail, but powerful enough and loud enough to be like, I'm never coming back here again. So here's one last dose of some Megan juju. And it was exactly that. So thank you for acknowledging that there can be vulnerable times and loud, like, woo times as well. And that was the last moment I'll never forget, the most powerful time of my life. Like, I skipped lunch because I knew I was getting out soon. They just had to find my bondsman, which a couple hours later they found. But I've never been more at peace in a jail cell before. And I just spread love. And I can remember, I won't say their names, but I remember there was 9 females in that booking, and I knew every single one of their names. And for the rest of my life, I will know, because I wasn't selfish. I was being vulnerable to spread my power. And I will never forget all 9 of their names. And I walked out of there with my bondsman that finally showed up. And from there on, it's been powerful moment after powerful moment. But I have to show up vulnerable, even through this stuff as the director and being promoted. Like, I come to Jennifer vulnerable, like, oh my gosh, they don't like me. Oh, what am I going to do? They don't like me. they don't like me. And like, all right, now put your big girl powerful panties on and like show your muscles, and it's okay if they don't like you, be vulnerable, but introduce yourself and create space for them and spread that energy for them. And then naturally some people have put in their resignation, and now we're creating this space of, man, we're rocking it. And there's so many people getting sober, and there's so many people finding their voice, and there's so many people understanding exactly what you just said, Michelle. Vulnerable and powerful is like this close together, and like, boom, fireworks. And so, yes, absolutely. All the time, all the time.
Woo.
Yeah.
That energy. I adore you. So much fun to hear you talk about this. And so I guess, yeah, I mean, as we start to kind of wrap this up, if there's someone out there listening that you could speak to, that could hear you right now, in the world, what would your message of "You're Not Wrong" be to them?
My message would be simply, don't give up. Don't give up. We can fall into belief patterns that we're wrong, we're horrible, we're not lovable, we could go on for days of this. Please don't give up. Reach out to someone. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Jennifer. It doesn't have to be Michelle. Don't give up. You find something inside of yourself that gets you to the next day. You find something that gets you to the next day, that gets you to something that feels good, whether it's sunlight, whether it's a walk, whether it's energy movement, whether it's finding an empowerment group like this. I don't DM one of them, somehow, some way, get to the next day. For every single night that you have that is horrible and depressing and scary, there's a sunrise that's going to happen in about 7 hours. And don't give up. Just keep fighting for one more day. And I promise you, I've had many days like that where this is the night. The sun always came up, and sun is energy for us. Sun is movement for us. Sun is powerful for us. And reach out. You're not wrong. And I've had to learn this as well. As a woman, you're not wrong for reaching out. You're not wrong for saying, I need help. You're not wrong for saying, I need you to watch my kids for a second because I'm not well. You're not wrong for that. So just don't give up. Don't give up and reach out, and you'll always make it to the other side. And then enjoy the movement, find some powerful women and powerful men, and give back. I think once you have that empowerment in you, the vulnerability plus the power, give back. Give back, because there's so many people in this world that can feel from you, and there's so many people in this world that need to hear our voice, that have been through shitty stuff, whether it's addiction, whether it's compulsions, whether it's depression, whether it's abandonment and trauma. Give back, and you'll find your voice.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
so
so
much
welcome
for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is like, I was so blessed to hear that I was invited. I'm like, woo, so fun.
So if is there any resources or any information that you want to give? We can certainly put it in with this podcast. But if there was somebody who wanted to reach out to someone or something, like, where would you send them, or what would be the resource you would recommend?
So I definitely recommend anything that supports mental health. I think a lot of the things that we go through is mental health related at the core. And so find somebody that works for you. Whether I work at Mind Springs, it does not have to be Mind Springs Health. It could be anyone and everyone in mental health treatment, and really find something that motivates and empowers you. There's a lot of things out there. There's Tough as a Mother campaign for mothers. There's a lot of agencies that support mental health, support substance abuse. And then just Google them, reach out to any of us, and we will get you plugged into someone or somebody that is able to meet the needs that you have. I think that also recovery is very individualized. So, it doesn't have to be that everyone funnels through one organization. I think when you finally learn that it's okay to reach out, your recovery can be very much individualized. Yeah. And there's something to energy healing. It's not, at first I think we weren't taught that. And so it could be something that is not of the sound mind. That's okay too. That's not wrong. And I also tell everybody that I come in contact with, try everything once. If you don't like it, if it's wrong for you, if it's not right for you, you don't have to do it again. But try everything once, even if your mind or your past traumas tell you, don't do that. Show up one time and then decide what's best for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Megan.
No, thank you guys. I'm so blessed. You guys are both amazing. You're two of my mentors. I've heard a ton about you, Michelle, and Jennifer. I just love you. So thank you guys for having me.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
Yeah.
On the
Take
You're
care.
Not Wrong podcast.
Yes.
You're not wrong.
You are not wrong.
You are not wrong. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Our target is to celebrate what it is that makes us different. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like it and share it with your friends. And stay in touch at yournotwrong.com.